Welcome to the session. So today I am here to explain how to read a graph logically to the program. Later we will discuss how to perform traverses, two different kinds of traverses on graph. In the earlier session we discussed about what is a graph and what is the graph terminology and what are the different kinds of representations for the graph. So first we will go for a program. In the program, how to read a graph. Okay. Say a graph is like this. Say a graph is like this. Say A is a one vertex, B is a one vertex, C is a one vertex, D is a one vertex, E is another vertex. So in general, a graph is connected with a set of edges. A graph is connected with a set of edges. So this is a graph, visual. But in the background, the graph is represented with two different notations. One is adjacency matrix, another one is adjacency list. So, in the background, we want to prepare an adjacency matrix representation equivalent to this graph. So, how we have written adjacency matrix? In the previous session I told. One more time I am reminding the same concept. Later I am moving to programming part. So A to A there is no vertex, 0. A to B vertex is there. So B to A also vertex is there. Why? Because it is an undirected graph. Undirected graph. Next, A to C. A to C no vertex, no edge. A to D is edge. A to E, edge. So A to D is an edge, D to A is also edge. So D to A also edge. A to E is an edge, E to A is also edge. So here edges are duplicated. Edges are duplicated. Next, B to B, no vertex, no edge. B to C, there is an edge. So C to B is also edge. Next, B to D, no edge. B to E, no edge. C to A, no edge. C to C, no edge. C to D, no edge. C to E, there is an edge. So E to C, also edge. Next, D to B, no edge. D to C, no edge. D to D, no edge. D to E is an edge. So E to D also edge. So E to B, no edge. E to E, no edge. So this is the adjacency matrix representation for this graph. So in our program, the graph is look like this. Means that we want to read a matrix. Here two possibilities are there. One is directly you can read the matrix. Means you can read the matrix as an input, and another one is by taking the number of vertices and number of edges, we are preparing the matrix. So I am moving to the second option. Why? Because first option you know how to read the matrix. That's why I am not choosing this. I am choosing by taking the number of vertices and number of edges, we are preparing a matrix. We are preparing a matrix. And the second one is a feasible solution. Why? Because say suppose in our graph 10 vertices are there, you have to enter 10 by 10 matrix. 10 by 10 matrix means you need to enter 100 values. Right? But 100 edges are not needed. So that the second approach is feasible one. So first, how to read a graph? So for knowing this, just I am using see concept. Means by using C programming language, how to read a graph I am explaining now. Right? Say void main. Okay, we know that first a graph is nothing but it's a two-dimensional array. So first in the two-dimensional array the values are zeros and ones. Zeros and ones are nothing but integer constants. That's why graph Z 10 by 10 matrix and whenever you want to save the memory of this graph also, you can declare dynamically. Means you can allocate the memory also dynamically. Okay? Next. For knowing the number of vertices, I am declaring V. V represents the number of vertices. And for knowing the edges, I want E. E represents number of edges. Okay? So here, what is the open fact is, say for example for this graph, how many number of vertices means V value is 5. Why? Because A is a one vertex, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So totally 5 vertices. Edges. Number of edges means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So edges are 6. Okay. So initially I am reading the values like this. So for that, printf slashing enter the number of vertices in the graph. So scanf %d comma ampersand v. Similarly, printf slashing enter the number of edges. Scanf %d ampersand. So here what to do? What to do is, so two inputs are taken. So I need to enter one by one edge. How to enter the edge? I know that whenever I have entered 5 different vertices, in general, a two-dimensional array refers to index. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's an index. Row index. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a column index. Okay. So I am assigning the same values. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to enter 6 edges. So 6 edges are represented as like this. 0 to 1 is an edge. 0 to 1 is an edge. Means each and every time I am referring to two integers. 0 to 1 is an edge. Next, 1 to 2. Or you can go for like this. 0 to 3 is an edge. Means starting with zeros or ones, one time. So 0 to 1, 0 to 3. 0 to 4, edge. Next, 1 to 2, edge. Next, 2 to 4 is an edge. Next, 3 to 4 is an edge. Like this here, reading the values. So for storing each and every time means it's a loop. Okay, for storing each and every time two different vertices values, I am taking V1, V2 are the two different vertices. So for I is equal to 0, I less than, how many edges are there? 6 different edges. So the 6 different edges is in V. So I less than E. I plus plus. I less than E, I plus plus. So here I am not writing printf statement, printf v1, v2 values. I am asking. So they are entered scanf percentage d, ampersand v1 comma ampersand v2. v1, v2. So here what I am doing is g of v1, v2 is equal to 1. It's an undirected graph. So when we are saying that it's an undirected graph, so we need to do this one also. v2, v1 also 1. While preparing the matrix also, here A to B is a one vertex, B to A is also one vertex, means one edge. So similarly, v1 to v2 is an edge, v2 to v1 is also edge. This is the way to read a graph. But here one specific point is there. What is the specific point is, when we have declared a graph 10 by 10, so in the graph, means in our technical term it's a two-dimensional array. The two-dimensional array, all the values are garbage values. So we need to set all the garbage values to 0 first. We need to set all the garbage values to 0 first. Means what we do is, here for I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Similarly, for j is equal to 0, j less than 10, j plus plus. After that, g of ij is equal to 0. We need to run this code before of this. Means you can use this code here. Means what? First the 10 by 10 matrix all are set to zeros. So where the edges are existed, so there we are keeping the values as 1. So this is the way to read a graph. Very simple. So first we read the number of vertices, after that we read the number of edges. Based on the edges I am iterating a loop. So in the loop itself I am entering one by one wedge. So based on the edges I am making as 1 values. So suppose you are taking 10 by 10 matrix also, maximum maybe 20 edges are there. Means the loop is iterated 20 times is enough. Means you need to enter 20 into 2, 40 values. Here 2, 42 values you have to enter. In spite of 100 values. So that's why the second approach is best. So this is the way to read a graph. This is the way to read a graph. Right? So the next we will go for our presentation. First, how to read a graph. Recently I told that how to read a graph by using HNC matrix representation. By using HNC matrix representation. Here one flaw is there. What is the flaw? Means, say in the previous example, I declared 10 by 10 matrix, but a maximum 5 by 5 matrix only I am using. The remaining values are memory wastage. For avoiding that, you can use dynamic memory allocation concept also. For avoiding that, you can use dynamic memory allocation concept also. No problem at all. Next. So, graph traverses. See, in the graph data structure, how to insert a vertex, how to delete a vertex, how to insert an edge, how to delete an edge. These kind of concepts are not that much serious. Why? Because initially directly they are entering a graph. If you want to do that one also you can do. But the kind of operations are not there in your circuit. Means directly we have taken a graph with the help of HNC matrix. So present our scenario is how to travel, means how to visit each and every vertex in the graph. For that, two kinds of traversal mechanisms are available. One is breadth first search, another one is depth first search. Breadth first search, depth first search. So the breadth first search is also called as level order traversal in binary traversal in binary tree traversal mechanism. There in order, pre-order, post-order, at last level order. So the breadth first search is also called as level order traversal. So for finding the BFS and DFS, we need additional data structure support. So for BFS we want Q, and for DFS we want stack data structure. Okay, for finding the breadth first search we need Q. For finding the depth first search we need stack mechanisms. Okay, so in the next session, means the upcoming time, we are discussing right now how to perform breadth first search. See, in the given graph, totally 9 vertices are there. So how to visit 9 vertices by using breadth first search? We want to discuss right now. First, manual. We are discussing manually. Later we are designing the code. So here, algorithm is, the objective is to visit all the vertices. So whether the visited or not, for knowing this, we want to declare an array. So the array refers to the maximum number of vertices here. Means here how many vertices are there? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is also not required actually. Why? Because here 9 vertices are there. So the index starts from 0 to 8. Whenever you want to compare V1, V2, V3, means here A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. G is not right. So initially, all the locations are filled with 0. So means that the 0 represents not visited, 1 represents visited. 0 represents not visited, 1 represents visited. So initially all the vertices are not visited. Okay. Next. So here we are storing order. In the what is the order? We are visiting one by one vertex. Right. So I am starting the process. So this is a graph. There is no starting point and there is no ending point for the graph. In case of tree, always starts with root node, ending with leaf node. But in case of a graph, there is no starting point, there is no ending point. So you can enter the starting point also. So here I am entering starting point. Say starting point say A. The starting point say A. Right. So here I am declaring a Q. Okay, here I am declaring a Q. First I am visiting A. I am visiting A means here A is visited, means make it as 1. Right. Here I am storing A is the first vertex. Next, we want to place the adjacency of A into Q. We want to place the adjacency of A into Q. What is the adjacency of A, B, C, D? B, C, D. One iteration is over. Initially they are entered a starting vertex we are make it as starting vertex into 1. Then we are storing the starting vertex into array. Next, what we have to do is place the adjacency of starting vertex into Q. Okay, second iteration starts. In the second iteration, what is the conditions are? Q is empty or not? When the Q is empty, the process is stopped. So the right now Q is empty? No, not empty. Means we want to delete one vertex from the Q. So I am deleting the vertex from the Q. Means I am deleting B. Whether it is visited or not visited. So make them as visited. Then store into order. Next, place the adjacency of B. What is the adjacency of B? E. So, E. Second iteration is over. Next again, third iteration. Check. Q is empty or not? Q is not empty. Again you want to delete one particular item from the Q. Say C. Right. So next, Q is visited, C is visited or not? Not visited. Make them as visited. Then store into the array and place the adjacency of C into Q. What is the C adjacency? B, G. B, G. Iteration is over. Again Q is empty or not? Q is not empty. So what we have to do? Again we are deleting one. Make them as visited. So place it into the Q, array. Then place the adjacency of D. What is the adjacency of D? C, G. Next. Q is empty or not? Q is not empty. Again, delete one item from the Q, say E. So, make them as visited. E is stored into the array. Places the adjacency of E. Here I am continuing. So, what is the adjacency of E? Adjacency of E is C, F. This is the continuation. C, F. Next. Again, Q is empty, not empty. Delete one item. B. B is already visited or not? Yes, visited. Close. When we are getting a visited vertex, no need to place the adjacency into Q. Just remove it. Again, Q is empty or not? Q is not empty, means that delete one item. G is deleted. Make the G as visited. Then store it to the order. Then place the adjacency of G. G adjacency is F, H, I. Iteratively do the same thing. Again, Q is empty or not? Not empty. Delete one item. C. C is already visited. Leave it. Next, G. G is already visited. Leave it. Next, C. C is already visited. Leave it. The next, F. F is not visited. Make them as visited. Store it into the array. Place the adjacency of F. C, H. So, C, H. Do the same thing. Again F, visited, leave it. H, H is not visited, make them as visited. So, H stored into the order. H stored into the order. Next. I. I is visited or not visited. Make them as visited. Stored into the array and place the adjacency of I. Place the adjacency of I. So what is the adjacency of I? F. Only F. Next. Q is empty or not? Not empty. So C. Deleted. It's already visited. Next H. Already visited. The next F. Already visited. Q is empty, S empty. So come out from the loop. So this is the BFS order. This is the BFS order. Means in this way we are visiting all the vertices in a graph. Why? Okay. So why it is called as level order? First we are visited in the first level. So we are visited A. Next level we are visited BCD. So BCD. The next level we are visited EGF. So EGF. The next level we are visited HI. So HI. That's why this is called as level order traversal also. That's why this is called as level order traversal also. And finally we are moving to the last point. Last point, that is called BFS spanning tree. Sometimes they are asking that they are given some problem, solve it and draw the BFS spanning tree also. So how to draw a BFS spanning tree is like this: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. First, A to B means from A to B you are visited. Is there any H A to B? Yes, A to B is an H. So with the help of that H only you are visited. Next, B to C. B to C, is there any H? No H. How you are visited? Without H, how you are visited? So for knowing this, one step back. So A to C. Is there any H from A to C? Yes, A to C. So A to C is an H. So in that way we are visited. In that way we are visited. Next, C to D. C to D is an H? No. How you are visited? One step back. B to D. B to D is an H? No. How you are visited? One step back. A to D. A to D is an H? Yes, A to D is an H. Next, D to E is an H? No. One step back. C to E is an H? No. C to E also no H. Next, B to E is an H? Yes, B to E is an H. So, you are listed like this. Next, E to Z is there an H? No. Next, D to Z is there an H? Yes. So, D to G you are listed. Next, G to F is there any H? Yes. G to F is there H. Next, F to H is there any H? Yes. F to H is there H. Next, H to I is there any H? Yes. H to I is there H. So this is called BFS spanning tree. Why it is called tree? Why not it is a graph? Graph is nothing but cycles are there. Here no cycles. Just identify. No cycle. So A to B, B to E is a one path. A to C is a one path. A to D, D to Z, G to F, F to H, H to I is a one path. There is no vertex from I to A. Means there is no H from I to A. That's why this is called BFS spanning tree. BFS spanning tree. This is a breadth first fetch process. Once you know the process, you can write the algorithm. No problem. What is the algorithm here? First, read the starting vertex. Make them as listed and place the HNC of starting vertex into Q. Then start the iteration. Q is empty or not? Q is not empty. What you have to do? First, delete one item from the queue. Check whether it is listed or not. If it is listed, leave it. If it is not listed, place the HNC of particular vertex into queue and repeat the process. Very simple algorithm. Next, we are doing the same thing for, this is also BFS. We have to move for what are the features of BFS algorithm. Nothing but in case of space complexity and time complexity. Space complexity and time complexity. So the space complexity is, in the breadth first search algorithm, all the nodes at particular level must be saved until the chain nodes the next level have been generated. Means the level order travels. For that, so if the number of vertices and edges in the graph are known ahead of time, so the space complexity can also expressed as big O of E plus V. E represents the number of edges, V represents the number of vertices. Right? Next, similarly, the time complexity in the worst case of the breadth first search algorithm travels all the paths and all possible. However, the time complexity also can be expressed in the same similar representation. Whether A plus B or B plus A, both are same. So, E plus V or V plus E, both are same. So, the space complexity and time complexity of the breadth first search algorithm is this one. Next, what are the applications of breadth first search algorithm? So, the breadth first search can be used to solve many problems. One problem is to know the given graph is connected graph or not. So, finding all the connected components in the graph are G. Say for example, I am given a graph like this: A, B, C, D. A graph is like this. So, when we are going for A, the adjacency of A is B and C. When you are moving to B, the adjacency of B is A and C. When you are moving to C, the adjacency is A and B. D is not connected. So you have listed only 3 vertices. Why you are not listed D? D is not connected. That is means of finding all the connected components in the graph G or not. Means it is a connected graph or not. Right? That is the one thing. And finding all the nodes within the individual connected component. That is also very beautiful. And finding the shortest path between the 2 nodes U and V of unweighted graph. Shortest path. Next, finding the shortest path between the nodes U and V of weighted graph also. Shortest path means you want to take weighted graph as an input. Weighted graph as input. Right? Next, how to find out the depth first search algorithm for the same graph? Just replace in the place of Q with the stack, you are getting depth first search. Right? So, first you need to take array. So, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why I am writing both? Generally index is 0 to 8 only. But I am assigning each and every index to some vertex. Okay, why? Because in the given problem they are given the vertices names as alphabets. So all are initially 0, means all are not visited. All are not visited. Next, so we need to save order. I need one more array for saving the order, and I need a stack. Start the process. I need starting point. Say suppose starting point is A. So make them as listed, store into the array. Place the adjacency of A. So B, C, D. Place the adjacency into stack. Right. So I am deleting one vertex from the stack. So what is the condition here? Stack is empty or not? Stack is not empty. Means we want to delete one vertex from the stack. So which one is deleted? D is deleted. So make them as D as visited and store into the array. Place the adjacency of D. So adjacency of D is CG. So C. Again we need to check stack is empty or not. Stack is not empty. So we need to delete one more time. So G. G is deleted. So make them as G as visited. So stored into the order and place the adjacency of G. G is FHI. So FHI. FHI. Right? Next. So again stack is empty or not? Stack is not empty. So we are removing one vertex from the stack. So make them as listed, stored into the array, and place the adjacency of I into stack. So I adjacency is F. I adjacency is F. Right. So next, again we need to check stack is empty or not. Stack is not empty. Delete one vertex from the stack. So F is deleted. We know that stack recently inserted item is deleted. So F. So make them as visited. Stored into the array. And place the adjacency of F. So C and H. C and H. Next, stack is empty. No, stack is not empty. Delete one item. Say H. So make them as listed. So H. Place the adjacency of H. So E. I. Again, we need to check stack is empty or not. Stack is not empty. Means that we are deleting one item from the stack. I is listed or not. As listed, leave it. Again, check stack is empty or not. Stack is not empty. So delete E. So E is listed or not. Not listed. So make them as listed. Store into the array. And place the adjacency of E. So E is C, F. C and F. Again we need to check stack is empty or not. Stack is not empty. Means we need to delete one item from the stack. F. F is already listed. Leave it. Next C. C is listed or not. Not listed. Make them as listed. Store into the array. Place the adjacency of C into stack. So what is the adjacency of C? BG. So BG. Next. Again stack is empty. No, not empty. So remove one item. G and whether listed or not, as listed, leave it. Next. B. Stack is empty, not empty. So I am deleting B. Okay. So B is not listed. Make them as listed. Stored into the post array. After that, place the adjacency of B. So E. Stack is empty or not? Not empty. Deleting one item. So E. E is listed or not? As listed. Leave it. Next. C. C is listed or not? As listed, leave it. Next. H. Already listed, leave it. F. Already listed, leave it. C. Already listed, leave it. C. Already listed, leave it. B. Already listed, leave it. Stack is empty. So, process is stopped. Here also they are asking that what is the DFS spanning tree for this? So B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Here you can see what is the depth-wise pattern. In the previous one we are listed in the level order. So in the depth-wise search we are listing in the depth-wise manner. Just verify. A to D. So A to D is an H, we are listing in that way. Next D to Z, D to Z is an H, we are listing in that way. So G to I is an H, we are listing in that way. Means first we are moving to the depth of the graph. Next, I to F is an H, we are listed in that way. F to H is an H, so we are listed in that way. Next, H to E H to E also is an H. We are listed in that way. Next, E to C. E to C is an H. So we are listed in that way. Next, C to B. C to B is also an H. We are listed in that way. So this is called as DFS spanning tree. This is called as DFS spanning tree. So why it is called spanning tree? A to D, D to G, G to I, A to F, F to H, H to E, E to C, C to B is only one path. Starting point, ending point are not same. That's why it is called as tree. Okay, this is DFS spanning tree, and this is the way to calculate DFS traversal also. Just replace stack in place of queue. Okay. Next, what are the features of depth first search technique? So features of depth first search algorithm. Here also same, right? So the space complexity of a depth first search lower than the breadth first search. Right? And one more thing is time complexity. The time complexity of the depth first search is proportional to the number of vertices plus number of edges in the graph that are traversed. So the time complexity can be divided as V plus V. V represents the number of vertices, E represents the number of edges. So what is the algorithm here? Similar. Just to replace with where in the BFS Q is empty or not, here stack is empty or not. That's it. So finally, summary. Sorry, before going to summary, applications of depth first search. So the depth first search are also useful to find the connected component or not. So finding whether the graph is connected or not, and computing the spanning tree for the connected graph, and finding the path between specified nodes U and B, same to specified U and B weighted graphs. Means the benefits or applications are same for both BFS and DFS. So in this session we have discussed about first how to read a graph. How to read a graph. That is we have discussed. In the second one, we have discussed about traversals. Here, two kinds of traversals are there. One is breadth first search, another one is depth first search. So BFS, how we are doing manually, we already seen with the help of an algorithm. And DFS also how to travel with the help of algorithm. And at last, discussed features and applications of both, nothing but BFS, So in the next session we are discussing about what is the spanning tree and how to find out the minimal spanning tree with the help of two algorithms, one is Prim's and Kruskal's algorithm. Thank you.